To begin with, I have just done a little bit of hair prep. On the practice head, I have curled the hair with tongs, just using a little bit of my Silhouette Style and Care lotion. And this is a really lovely product. It's very light on the hair. It doesn't weigh the hair down. So even when you're working with very fine hair, it takes away, it doesn't weigh the hair down, make it look greasy or flat, and it helps to tame any flyaways. So it's a great product to use. You could use it if you were doing a blow dry. You could use it if you are, curling the hair with tongs or with straighteners as a kind of product to use before you start working, because it also works as a heat protector. And then if you do find you have any flyaways in the hair, once you've styled it, you can spritz the hair again with your Style and Care lotion, and it will just tame those flyaways away like magic. So I definitely recommend the Style and Care lotion. Oh, and before we go any further, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has subscribed in the last couple of weeks, because we've gone up from 11,000 subscribers to 12,000. I just had to check the figures then. Yes, so we're now 12,000. So thank you. If you haven't already subscribed, please remember to hit the notification bell so you find out when our next tutorials, when our next live tutorials are due to to happen. So you don't need to miss anything ever. So let's begin. We've prepped the hair, and I've got a little soft wave in there. On the photograph, I used straightener curls. But on the practice head, especially this practice head is quite well worn. And I've got a few extensions in here. But you might find when you're working with a practice head, if there's already quite a bit of product on there, it's quite hard to work with the straighteners because they kind of drag on the hair. So if you're working with a practice head during this kind of COVID time, then I recommend using tongs rather than straighteners. So let's just create a little bit of movement and texture here on the crown area. So I'm not going to gather it all together because I want to keep it quite kind of wide and soft. So I'm just going to lift up the hair a little bit. And I've got my little piecey sections here from where I've kind of curled the hair. And I'm just going to pop a bobby pin in across the back here. That's it, holding it flat against the head. That's it. Not too high up, quite low down, because I want it to look soft and relaxed. And then I'm going to push the next few pieces of hair up and pop a bobby pin in there, making sure I'm happy as I go along with the position of each one of these kind of piecey bits of hair. And push that in. So when you're curling the hair here, you can kind of be a bit more relaxed when it comes to curling. You can, the sections underneath from the nape of the neck, because they're going to be hidden under the hair that comes down here. But when you get to the crown, you really need to start thinking. You don't want to do two big sections of hair, because you want to start thinking about, let me just grip that in a bit better. You want to start thinking about where each section is sitting and curl it accordingly. So we do have a tutorial online where we explain how to do the straightener curls, and it's a super quick hair prep, I have to say. But what it will do is it will kind of show you how to create these little piecey bits here on the crown. So again, we're not bringing everything in because I almost want it to look like it's falling even here at the back. So it's going to be pinned in, but it doesn't need to look too pinned in. And I might just get a little bit of hair here. I'm going to use a little bit of product. You could use I'm using the Creative Texture. This is a Super Ego Structure Cream. This is quite a strong hold cream because the hair on the practice head is quite coarse and she needs a little bit more help to tame her down. But if you were working maybe on a client who had quite fine hair, then I would be tempted to just use a little bit maybe of your list control. That's a nice kind of a bit more of a gentler hold on the hair, and so it's not too it won't make the hair, if she's got quite fine hair, it won't make the hair look greasy or anything. It's just a bit kinder to the hair. So here I'm just going to create a little twist in the hair, and just I'm going to wrap this, bring this back, just a little bit of a twist. Now just pull that out. So it's not exactly the twist and pull, it's almost like a little rope twist. Just let me turn her around a little bit, just opened out. And we're going to do a little series of these, but I actually want them to drop a bit lower down because I want it to sit over that bobby pin. So let me just bring that down just in case. That's better. So it's just sitting on top of the bobby pins that are holding the hair across the back. Now you could, if you want to, use a little fine pin to just hold that in position just a little bit. That's better. And then I'm just going to, it's almost like a little prop in the hair. So as I say, I know it's not easy to see what I'm doing here because we can't zoom in, but you can see how I use these little props. That's better. On our kind of HD tutorials that we have on our e-learning site, which is only $9.99 a month to join. Now let me see. So if, as I say, if this is your career or you're hoping to get into doing kind of special occasion hair and bridal hair, then it's a great way to start. Okay, great. And then I can just pop those pins in just to make sure it stays where I want it to do. That's it. Push them in and behind the bobby pins that are going across there. So it's just a tiny little twist. So it barely looks like it's been secured, but it's actually really secure and it's not going to move anywhere. And that's basically what we're going to do with this style. So it's great, actually. This would be fabulous, maybe even for a bridesmaid, because it won't take you long to do. It's a super quick style. And the hair prep, again, if you're doing straightener curls, is super easy. So I'm just being careful here. Let me turn her around a little bit. I'm just being careful that I don't end up showing any of these extensions. So if you're not working with extensions, you can be a bit more kind of relaxed about this, but I don't want any of these roots of these extensions to show. So I'm just going to pop a little pin in there just to hold that hair in position. And then I think I'll just create another little twist just here. So make sure before you do the twist, make sure that the hair is smooth, because if it's flyaway at this point, once it's in the twist, it'll be practically impossible to lose those kind of flyaway hairs. So smooth it out before you twist. It's just a simple little twist in the hair, and then we can loosen. It's super for bridesmaids, this style. And I think half up, half down styles are still going to be really popular next year for the upcoming wedding season. Little pins to pop it in place as you go along. That's it. Lovely. And then I'm going to pop a couple of flowers in this when I've finished. And I'm working with a mirror. You might not be, you won't be able to see because the mirror is just off camera. Let me just turn her around so I can have a little look and make sure I'm happy with the position of everything. That's a bit high, that one. So I'm working with a mirror just off camera. That's better. So it's just kind of tiny little twists. It's an effortless looking style, this one. So it's almost barely kind of pinned up, but it is styled. So it's for those people that want to look like they've just kind of you know, they've just kind of got up and they just look naturally that gorgeous. So let's take a little bit back from the side here. And do one more little twist, I think. Let me just make sure I'm happy with where these sections are sitting, because you can see where the extensions are here. They're just a little bit too solid, I think, so I need to cover them up. I mean, I like the fact that the extensions are not the same colour as the hair on the practice head, but it does make it a little bit more tricky when it comes to actually styling the hair. But I think if you're working with a practice head, it's definitely worthwhile getting a few extensions, because you'll find it will just make all the difference to the hairstyles. Because especially if you're working with a dark practice head, because you'll find, and another little twist here, make sure it's smooth first. Yeah, if you're working with a dark practice head, then the hair can be kind of very kind of solid and just one colour. So it's hard to see the kind of intricacies of the style that you're creating. And you'll probably have noticed that a lot of the time on Instagram, a lot of the styles are created on people with highlights or low lights in the hair. And that's just because it photographs so much better. So if you can get some, if you do get a few little highlights a few little pieces of extension in different colours, it can make all the difference to the style. Soft little twist. So again, if you've got any questions, please just ask. And I'm going to prop this hair up here because I think it's just a little bit dark just there. We've got a question there.
Yes. Aj says, where do you supply your extensions from?
Good question. Now, we use a company called American Dream, and they're based here in London. This is going to look gorgeous, this style. And they do really good hair extensions, but you can get extensions from so many different places now, and you'll find a lot of Afro-Caribbean hair shops are great places to find really good value extensions. So there's a company called Pax. It's PAKX. That's it. That's a lovely little twist coming back there. And I know they do mail order on, so you can order online, and they're really good value. And there's another one, I think it might be Lauren Pope. I think she did one called Hair Therapy, something like that. And she does really good extensions, and they're not all. Some of them are synthetic hair, I think, but a lot of them are real hair. I do prefer to work with real hair rather than synthetic hair, because I just find it kind of behaves, especially if you're going to put a curl in the hair, because it behaves more like the real thing, more like your client's hair. I'm just going to prop that up. So I definitely recommend that they get real hair rather than synthetic. It will just make your styling job so much easier. So I'm going to do some little props in the hair just to help hold these bits of hair in position so it looks like it's kind of falling down. Then I'm going to bring these two back, and then that will be our style done. A little bit of product, except for a few little accessories in the hair. So you can decide how much hair you want to have down. Smooth out those pieces. Do a little twist in the hair. That's it. Really great for bridesmaids because it doesn't need a lot of hair prep. Your straightener curls can be quite quick. It's depending on how much hair your client has. That might be a little bit too twisted. I think I put a twist in it as I was bringing that back, and I actually don't want it to look too styled. So I don't want to, that side, with that one, I was twisting it and wrapping, twisting the hair and wrapping. But actually, and it does give a really great kind of defined braid, almost twist, but I don't really want that. I want this to be just a little tiny bit of a crossover. So I'm just going to cross the bottom over the top without a twist in the hair. Yeah, this is quite a quick style. The hair prep is quick. Your straighten curls you can probably do in 20 minutes, half an hour. And then your styling, maybe another 20 minutes. So you'll have your style done in maybe kind of 40 minutes, I think, with this one. And I usually do allow, timings are crucial on a wedding day. And I usually allow, I'd say, maybe 45 minutes for the bridesmaids. And you need to make sure that you don't run over. So timing is really key. So that's it. So if you have a difficult bridesmaid that you're dealing with, you need to get her out of the chair. If she's taken up the time for the bride, concentrate on the bride and tell her you'll get back to her and you'll help her with her hair later. But the key is that you don't run late. You're not kind of running behind with your bride. Little bobby pin in there. Hold that in. Now, I hope you can see this. I'm going to pop those little pins in to help prop that up, because it's such a simple style. There's barely, it's kind of just, so if she was having a kind of wedding, maybe a festival, kind of themed wedding, going to pop some little flowers in, just for a little bit of prettiness to the style. That's it. So if you're having or a wedding maybe in a barn, this would be a lovely style for the bridesmaids, and then the bride can shine. We got another question.
Yes, Chris says the hair is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I don't know if I've got enough of these to scatter them around. I might have, but it might have been better to kind of pop them together. That's better, spreading them out a little bit, I think. So make sure, let me stand behind so you can see what I'm doing. These little flowers, silk flowers, are on a little bobby pin. But I just want to make sure that they sit nicely and spread out. That's a bit better. These are a bit bulky, I think. I might just pop a little pin on it so it stays, so it spreads out a little bit. I want them to kind of look like they're little individual flowers in the hair. Better. So it's kind of scattered. That's what I'm looking for. Better. And I think maybe one more. Just here. Yeah. And there we go. A lovely kind of, I'm just going to use bobby pins to hold these in position. That needs another one on there. It's not quite doing what it's being told. Little flower. Now, if you're working with real flowers, or your bride wants to have real flowers in her hair, that's better. Just woven it kind of underneath one of the little twists there. If your client wants to have real flowers in her hair, then you'd be far better to ask her to get them wired. Do we need any more? One more section, a few more little flowers here, or have we got, yeah?
Just above.
Above there? Yeah. Okay. So if she's having flowers in her hair, then I would suggest that you recommend to get the florist to wire the flowers for them, because otherwise the stem, if I was going to do this with a real flower, I think this one would be something like called stephanotis, then the stems can just snap so easily, and you just were left with a little flower head, the petals in your hand, and you're just making your job much harder. So always get them to get their flowers wired from the florist. The one you don't need to wire is the gypsophilia, the baby's breath. With that one, it's very fine. It's on like a little stick. The stem is very fine and hard, and it doesn't really snap. But most other flowers can snap really easily. So always make sure your brides get their kind of hair flowers wired so you can use them and they stay in. The last thing you want is for them to kind of snap as you're putting them in. So here we go. We've got our fabulous, have we got enough flowers in there? Do we need any more? Got one more little, does it need a little few more there, do you think? Or have we got enough? Let me ask.
I think it's great.
Well, with or without?
We could take one of the other side out. Oh, yeah.
Shall I pop it in? Why not? The more the merrier. Spread that in. Might weave that up underneath that particular curl. So it looks like it's kind of coming in and out of the hair. We're done. Another pretty, that's it. Yeah, lovely. A lovely spring style. I know we're just going into, our Christmas season, but this is a beautiful style. Ready. So if you're doing your trial runs now, so I've got a trial tomorrow and I've got one on Friday for ladies who are getting married in the spring next year. So this would be a perfect look for your spring wedding. So thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And thank you to all of those of you that have subscribed over the last kind of couple of months. It's great to have you with us. And I look forward to seeing you for next week's tutorial. If you have any styles that you'd like to learn, please just send your photos in and we will pick one and recreate that look for next week. Take care. Bye.